State investigators are putting new eyes on the case of a CU student who went missing and was found dead nearly a year ago. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jennifer Meckles.
And I'm Mark Salinger. The family of Megan Trussell has been begging for a review of her death. And now the Colorado Bureau of Investigation says they're mandating one. 9 News reporter Colton Chavez spoke with her family today, who say this review is overdue and it's now giving them new hope.
CU students deserve to know that serious incidents will be examined fully. CU parents deserve confidence that unanswered questions won't be dismissed.
It's a feeling Megan Trussell's family says they've been living with for the past 11 months.
Her story absolutely deserves to be told, and it deserves to be told truthfully.
Her family has been pushing for months for a case review with no luck. Her parents have identified Megan as an Indigenous woman. Now, the State Department of Public Safety says this review is mandated under a state law that requires the department to conduct an independent review for cases that involve Indigenous people whose deaths were ruled as a suicide or overdose under suspicious circumstances.
In the last 7 months, I've been doing my own investigating, and there's a lot more to it, a lot more.
Megan's mom, Vanessa Diaz, says her daughter vanished from her dorm at CU, was reported missing on February 9th, and was found dead in Boulder Canyon 6 days later. Law enforcement says Megan died by suicide and prescription drug misuse.
What I'm hoping here will happen is that there are people who can take an outside look and really see what I see as confirmation bias throughout the entire investigation.
They hope a second look will mean a second chance.
I knew there was something very wrong.
A way to finally end the feeling Megan's family has carried for so long.
She lives with me in my heart, you know. The grief will never go away, but as time continues and we make progress in this investigation, it's a little easier to get out of bed every morning.
That was Colton Chavez reporting. Megan's mom has a lot of questions, including why her daughter's cell phone was found by someone who was homeless, who was then reselling the cell phone at a kiosk, and as well as how her daughter would have walked that far into Boulder Canyon alone, and also how they've pushed back against the coroner's report about the role that prescription medication played in her death. More than 48 hours after 9 News first learned about a bad fuel mix-up, we still don't know about which gas stations were impacted across the metro area. State regulators confirmed diesel was loaded into gas tanks meant to have unleaded at an H&F Sinclair terminal in Henderson, Colorado earlier this week. The Colorado Division of Oil and Public Safety said it received more than 200 complaints from drivers about contaminated fuel just destroying their cars. We do know more than a dozen gas stations were impacted. And as we're waiting for more answers, drivers are now facing steep costs to try and repair their cars.
9 News reporter Rhea Josh shows us what just one driver's dealing with now.
Getting gas doesn't require much thought.
I filled up over here at pump 3.
Second nature even for a lot of people.
The shop guy called. I was a little annoyed.
It didn't sit well with Lauren's Whitezig when a mechanic asked if she put diesel in her tank.
Yeah, I knew I didn't make that mistake.
Until she found out she wasn't alone. The state is now investigating after about 400,000 gallons of diesel were mistakenly mixed into unleaded fuel at an HF Sinclair terminal and distributed to gas stations across Colorado from Wednesday afternoon into Thursday morning, with confirmed impacts at King Soopers, Costco, and Murphy Express locations.
I got about a half mile down Smoky Hill and my car just stopped working. The estimate I got was over $5,000. And that was like totally replacing the fuel system. A lot of cleanings involved. Yeah, there's a lot to be fixed.
This location off of Smoky Hill Road in Aurora is back up and running, and King Super says they're working on insurance claims for impacted customers, but Lauren still doesn't have a car.
I called again this morning because they said if I didn't hear anything to call back. My insurance recommended, you know, if I don't have some information by Monday to start proceeding with my claim to get the work done, but then I have to pay the deductible, so yeah, a lot up in the air right now.
While customers like Lauren wait for clarity, she says this mindless errand now comes with a second guess.
For a long time, I'm going to be thinking every time I put gas in, just hopefully the car starts and everything's good afterwards.
That was Ria Zhao reporting. That woman did later say that she got a call back from King Soopers with a claim number. They said they'd call her back on Monday. If you think you might have been affected as well, you can always file a complaint with the Division of Oil and Public Safety. We have a link to that on our website, 9news.com. We will continue to follow this story and what comes next. You can text the word gas to 303-871-1491 for more information. We'll send you the list we have so far of these gas stations that have been affected. Again, we don't have an entirely comprehensive list. We've been asking for a while, and we'll send you what we got as we get it. We will text you back a link with everything you need to know for this story.
Moving to the weather now in typical Colorado fashion. As quickly as the snow came down and accumulated, quickly melting away. Sunshine dominating the day. As temperatures warm back up, we could see 60s by next week. Corey Reppenhagen joining us this evening. Corey, usually at this part of January, we see cold, we see winter weather, and then it stays that way. Now it's just warming up very, very quickly.
Yeah, with this snow that we just got, it kind of feels more like March because it's disappearing quick, and we're going to have more warm temperatures tomorrow and more snow melt. Nice night here across the city of Denver. 31 degrees at 9 News, 30 degrees at Denver International Airport. We're clearing out here across the state here. A few high clouds starting to roll in from the north, but we'll stay mostly clear and dry through the night. Temperatures are going to be cold once again, 24 in Denver. Not as cold as it was this morning, -4 in Gunnison, Steamboat 6 degrees. So a little bit warmer than what we saw this morning, which was a seriously cold morning. Here's the temperatures for tomorrow across the area. 55 in Anton, 53 in Berthoud. We have a warm day on the Front Range and the Eastern Plains, and the National Western Stock Show will be mostly flannel t-shirts, maybe jeans and t-shirts. We've got 52 for tomorrow, and then we'll be in the upper 50s for both Monday and Tuesday. Dry conditions straight ahead, and our weather pattern is actually quite concerning. We're going to enter another dry pattern, so I'll talk about that coming up in the full forecast. It's just a few minutes away.
Corey, thank you. We want to get to some breaking news right now to downtown Denver. If you live in the area around Capitol Hill in that area, you've heard a lot of sirens, police officers moving through. Here's what's going on. There's a large police presence at North Logan Street in the Cap Hill neighborhood after police say that shots were fired at some police officers.
DPD has issued a shelter in place for that area. We have a crew headed that way to learn more at this time. And as we learn more, we'll be sure to pass it along to you guys. But a shelter in place right now happening in the city of Denver in the Capitol Hill neighborhood. So stay with us, and as we learn more, we'll pass it along. In your other headlines tonight, Westminster police are investigating after a man was found dead in a parking lot this morning. Police say that officers responded to a welfare check for a man who was lying face down in the parking lot off Wolf Run Park. This is West 76th, kind of near the intersection with Sheridan Boulevard. Police say the man had been shot several times. Witnesses told police they saw a dark-colored, newer model sedan leaving the park at the time of the shooting. Anybody with information is asked to call police.
A woman has been arrested in connection to a crash that killed a 5-year-old in Greeley last month. Police say the crash happened on December 29th in an intersection of US 85 and 22nd Street. A Tesla hit a Ford, which eventually crashed into a semi-truck. The semi-truck and Tesla drivers were not hurt, but a 5-year-old girl in the Ford was badly hurt and later died. The driver of the Ford was arrested and is facing several charges, which include careless driving.
Some Colorado state officials are now hoping that legislation can help bring down the price of home insurance in the areas that are such high risk for wildfires. Our partners at the Denver Business Journal are reporting that for the second year in a row now, Colorado's insurance commissioner is pushing for a bill to establish a home wildfire reinsurance enterprise. Reinsurance is like insurance, but for insurance companies. Reinsurance companies can take on some of the risks and provide funds that a primary insurer can tap into in cases where it's faced with big losses. State officials say some areas of the state are so high risk, insurers are not willing to offer their products there. Data shows Colorado has the second most expensive home insurance cost in the country. Experts point to disasters like wildfires as the reason why. This bill also looks to fund programs that would help harden roofs and structures against hail damage.
On the heels of the killing of a woman by an ICE officer in Minneapolis, there's a push from Democrats and a small number of Republicans on Capitol Hill in Washington for a different response to President Trump's immigration crackdowns. Lawmakers are demanding a range of actions from a full investigation into Renee Good's death to policy changes over law enforcement's raids. There's also discussion about defunding these ICE operations and even the idea of impeaching Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. Both of those, of course, largely unlikely since Republicans control both the House and Senate and have all the power. The killing immediately drew dueling narratives around the country. Trump administration officials say the officer acted in self-defense, while Minnesota officials, of course, dispute those claims.
The killing of Renee Good is sparking nationwide protests against ICE, including here in Colorado, where Good grew up. We saw several protests popping up in and around the Denver metro this weekend. The protests are being called ICE Out for Good, and they're calling for the agency to leave these local communities. We spoke with one woman in Boulder who is hoping the protests will lead to change.
I think what happens also in the community is people are like in a state of shock and they feel scared, but when you come together as a community, it empowers you and helps people feel brave and feel like they understand that they're on the right side of history and they want something to be done.
And more protests are scheduled across the country tomorrow.
A 24-year-old man from Mississippi has been arrested after a terrible shooting last night. Authorities say Derica Moore shot and killed his father, brother, and uncle. Clay County Sheriff's Office there says he then stole his brother's truck and drove to another home, then allegedly broke in and tried to assault someone before killing his cousin. Sheriff's Office says he then drove to a third location where deputies found the bodies of a pastor and his brother. Police arrested Moore in Cedar Bluff, about 125 miles northeast of Jackson, Mississippi there. He's expected to be in court on Monday.
President Trump is continuing to push through the takeover of Venezuela's oil industry. He signed a new executive order that is meant to protect the revenue that comes in from that oil. The order, which was made public today, would block the court or creditors from getting that money. Reuters reports several companies have claims against Venezuela. They're still owed billions of dollars. This order states that if the funds were used for that, it could undermine U.S. efforts in Venezuela. The order comes as there is caution from top U.S. oil executives that instability in Venezuela could make the country less attractive for investment and rebuilding. U.S. oil company investment is a top priority of the Trump administration following the capture of now deposed leader Nicolas Maduro.
I really like it. I think it is so pretty and so well put together.
The National Western Stock Show is officially underway, and there are some new attractions this year. We'll give you a look coming up. Welcome back. Dust off the cowboy boots. The best 16 days of January are officially here.
Today kicked off the 120th annual National Western Stock Show. Today we got a look at some of the new attractions this year. First is the Legacy Building, which opened up with a ceremonial ribbon cutting this morning. The building will be the new headquarters for the stock show, and just behind it sits the Sioux Anschutz Livestock Center, where competitors get ready for the show. The brand new space allows more room for visitors to roam around and a lot more room for competitors as well.
Just like the space in general that you have. Like I have like the whole aisleway, and then no one's like crammed. And then like the wash racks are all nicely spaced out, and they're really big and nice. And everything's really close, like outlets like right behind my things and water pumps right over there. It's really convenient.
There's plenty of action ahead over the next 2 weeks of the stock show. We've made it easy for you to know where and when to go. You can text the words stock show to 303-871-1491, and we'll send you a link with all the information.
Every time we talk about stock show, we talk about stock show weather, and we are just not having it, Corey.
Yeah, we got the parade. We got some snow during the parade. We like to call that stock show weather, but this year's stock show weather is going to be mild temperatures and dry conditions, because that's the weather pattern that's developing here. This is a computer model of the atmosphere showing the low pressure up here starting to move away and high pressure starting to regain some strength. And this is going to be big and strong and last several days. Here we take the model into the middle of the week, and we see the high pressure stay. Denver and the Front Range will be right in between record heat to the west and a big storm system to the east. When this thing comes down here Wednesday, it looks like it's gonna just miss the state of Colorado. And this will stay dry. One more little piece of this will come by on Friday, but otherwise we've got nothing in the forecast. Take a look at your snowpack right now. These numbers are near historically low, and they're gonna continue to plummet over the next 10 days. We might not get more than a dusting of snow in the high country over the next 10 days. We could be looking at the worst snowpack we've ever seen in the middle of January. Take a look at the forecast here, Futurecast, the model showing tomorrow. We've got some clouds coming across the state from the north to the south. That'll break up the sunshine just a little bit, but temperatures should still make it into the 50s. And then we fast forward here to Monday. Looks like the entire state of Colorado is going to be under clear skies, lots of sunshine, warm temperatures. And then Tuesday, that's the day that big storm system will start to come back here towards the east. We'll get a little bit of cloud cover, maybe a few flurries in the mountains, but really nothing to show for as far as precipitation goes. And it's going to stay that way. Here's your forecast low temperatures for tomorrow morning. It's another chilly one out there for sure, but not as cold as it was this morning. That was some legit cold out there. -4 in Gunnison, 6, Steamboat, 10 in Vail. So some pretty low temperatures out there. Here's your forecast in Denver for Sunday. In North Denver, we got the National Western Stock Show going on, 20s in the morning. Some clouds and sunshine mixed through the day, 52 degrees for high temperature. Here's the high temperatures for the rest of the state and the region here. We've got some 50s out on the eastern plains. A little bit colder down here just because we have that thicker snowpack from that last storm. This is where we got the most snow. And then we've got some 30s and 40s up in the high country, as we do have quite a bit of sunshine on our way for the next couple of days. This is your 7-day forecast in Denver, and it is a dry one. We'll stay in the upper 50s as we go through Monday through Wednesday. That little storm system out to our west or our east, we'll get a little scrape of some cold air, but probably still make it into the 50s. It won't be until that secondary piece of energy comes through here on Friday. This will be the next chance where we may see something resembling winter, but right now it looks like temperatures will top out in the upper 30s with a chance for some isolated snow showers, not covering a lot of ground. So this entire 7-day forecast stays warm and dry.
I want to get you out live to the Capitol Hill neighborhood in Denver, where we're following some breaking news right now. There's a large police presence in the area of 13th and Logan. Again, that's in Denver's Capitol Hill neighborhood. This is a live look at 11th and Logan, where our crew says the street is blocked off right now with a bunch of police officers.
All of this is still pretty new coming in. We're learning kind of in real time. Police have told us shots were fired at officers. We do not have any information at this point about whether anybody got hurt. Police say they are still looking for the shooter, and they have a shelter in place for this area. And again, our crew that is out there is about 2 blocks away from the specific point of interest and says that there is a lot of road closures and blocks throughout the Capitol Hill neighborhood.
At this point, the Denver Police Department is saying that one person in the area sustained a minor leg injury from the shots that were fired at the officers and was transported to the hospital. No officers were injured at this time. We still don't know if anybody has been taken into custody or if they are still searching for any suspects in the area. You can see police officers continue to roll by through that area of about 13th and Logan in Denver's Capitol Hill neighborhood. If you live in that area, there is a shelter in place going on right now. But again, the newest update from the Denver Police Department is that one person was transported to the hospital after sustaining a minor leg injury, and no officers have been injured at this time.